Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Oh my gosh, such chic glasses. Of
Good
course.
to see you.
It's good to see you. And what's
I
your
hope
weather like? It looks beautiful.
it is beautiful today, finally. So, well, we cannot complain this year apart from this crazy time, but
Yeah.
no, we cannot definitely complain. So we had some rain last week, which was well
Okay.
deserved, especially for the new vineyards we recently planted. And actually, we have some good sun, so you can see
Excellent.
the sky, which is beautiful and
Gosh, yeah, it's
blue,
gorgeous.
and yeah, it's nice. So just here there are the vineyards, the San Luigi Vineyard, our small lake.
Oh my
You
gosh.
can see also the Alp Mountains right over there. So
Yeah.
not every day we can see them so well. So you can
Beautiful.
also see some snow on the top
Lucky
and some
us.
more of the vineyards. Actually,
Oh
the
wow.
cellar, more
Oh
vineyards.
man. Gorgeous. Wow, right in the middle of it.
Quite
All right.
boring, just about vineyards.
It's unbelievable, yeah. So, Chiara, let's start with who you are, what your job is, and kind of how you got to where you are as in the wine world. And
Of that, the winery is Marziano Abbona, and Marziano is my father. But Marziano is quite a common name of great grandfather's name as well.
oh,
So, and great grandfather Marziano was a little bit the inspiration for all the winery became these days. And then we had Celso, so my grandfather, who was really, we can consider him the real founder of the winery, despite it's in my father's under my father's name. So uh, Celso was the person who started to um, switch the family farm into a specific winery. And unfortunately, we lost him very, very, very early. So when my father was just 14 years old, so
wow.
my father started to make wines and to fight for his and our future very early. So we're very thankful because of that. And today, my sister and I are running together with my father the estate, which is founded in which is located in Dogliani. So this is the Dolcetto land,
Okay.
most of it. But we also have vineyards and land in inside the Barolo area production. So in Novello, Camion, in Monforte d'Alba as well. We're expanding a little bit the properties toward the Alta Langa, so in Belvedere. And actually, we have 125 acres more or less.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
in all these communes, and we make about 30,000 cases per year. So being a family estate, it's quite something, to be honest.
Yeah. Wow. So for
Yeah.
me, you're the face of Abbona because I've met you at the portfolio
Yeah, a few
tastings
times.
over the
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
So what do you do? What does your sister do? And what does your dad do?
Well, first of all, I have to say this is a family estate. So basically, there are uh, specific tasks for some of us, but not so strict, not so specific at the same time,
Okay.
because we're used to do what we need to do at the time we have to do it, as you can imagine. So um, my sisters joined the estate in 1999,
Okay.
and she started to work in the cellar. She was, harvesting and helping with the winemaking and so. And she started also to travel a little bit, especially all around the national market. And at the same time, we started to grow a little bit in terms of volumes, in terms of land. And so actually, she is at the office and she takes care of the administration side, despite when she can, she travels with me sometimes just for a
Cool.
few
Okay.
days or in the wine fair. So, yeah. And my background, talking about myself, comes from the enology school.
Oh,
So
okay.
in Alba, yeah, yeah. And so I decided to be involved in the family estate when basically I was just a kid. I decided that when I was 3 years old,
Wow.
and yeah, yeah, I'm quite stubborn. So yeah, that's what I did. And actually, well, I'm the person traveling a little bit more, so that's the reason why you saw me over the years for a few times, especially abroad. But you know, when it's time to be home, it could be welcoming guests, it could be staying at the office and taking care of orders, or sometimes labeling or whatever it is. So
Okay.
it's the beauty of being a family estate. So we never get bored because we never do the same things at the same time.
Yeah,
And
that's awesome.
and my father is the maybe the most active and the volcano and our real engine because he never stops, and that's his life. If I would see him stop one day, I would be worried about. So he always has the energy to start new projects, planting new vineyards, so trying to think about new wines, new winemaking systems. So he's the heart of the winery, and he mainly well, couple of like 20 years ago, he was still traveling, even outside of the country, and he had this very strong feelings with the customers. But actually, he's more involved on the vineyard sides, um, and that's what he takes care the most, together with the winemaking, coordinating the cellar masters and the guys working at the cellar. So.
Very cool. Cool. That's
He's a
and
great
we
guy.
always forget you guys. You clearly everybody people are saying so. So and people we forget you don't get weekends off. It's a whole different schedule when you do a winery, especially one like yours.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a different story. If you know like, about traveling, so you know that there are mostly no weekends, and about the
Mm.
vineyards, it's the same, especially over the summertime, because it could be just having to spray or to work in the vineyards all over the weekend. Generally, the fall time is very busy because of the harvesting and also because of the many tourists we welcome. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Tourism
Cool.
has grown so much in the area,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, especially over the last 5, 6 years, it has exploded. So, not pretty sure what will happen this year. I don't want
Yeah.
to be negative, but we have to be realistic at the same time. So maybe
Yeah.
it's gonna be a little bit different year this
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
I hope so. I
I
hope
hope
it.
you will hear me clearly because it's a little bit windy, and so I hope so.
Yeah. Very 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 good. So I'm gonna go very basic for a minute. Can you
Yeah.
tell me why is Piedmont special? And then
Well,
where you are and how that's different or special itself.
well, Piedmont is special because I think it has. Well, of course, great wines, but there are so many wine regions with amazing wines all over the world, so we can just claim to be the ones. So, for sure, there are amazing wines and the wines for an extraordinary aging potential, like the Barolo and the Barbaresco, for sure. Um, well, what I really like of this region, and I always used to say this, it's that in here the roots of people are very deep. So if I just think about my personal experience, I know so many people in my business in the wineries, which has followed the steps, and they took uh, oh, sorry, they took the ownership. They decided to follow and to join the companies, the wineries their parents or their grandparents founded, not because they had to. And personally, it's my same the same situation I've been lived in the past, and I am living actually. So it's about just feeling these roots and the passion and the fact that we are so blessed of being born in this area and to be able to do such a wonderful job. So it's something very, very special. And I think the desire to grow and to make always better is something that makes Piemonte very, very unique. And apart from that, I think we're a little bit like the Italian Burgundy. So I'm very proud of that. So.
And so is Piedmont have the history of like the monks and over centuries figuring out the best exposure, the best way of making the wine? What's the history of Piedmont?
Well, Piedmont, basically, what can I say? So, if we just look back like maybe 30, maximum 40 years ago, the situation was not the one we are living today. So, there were three main grape varieties planted as it is today, so Dolcetto, Barbera, and Nebbiolo. But surprisingly, Dolcetto was the most important, also in terms of economic side aspects of the area, much more than Nebbiolo for the production of Barolo was. Um, and that's the reason why I used to say we are living in a Dogliani is like the Cinderella of the Lange. So in the past it was like glorious, but it became a little bit like poor and underrated over the years because then when the the Barolo started to be exported and a little bit more known also because of the Barolo boys and all these kind of things, it has exploded and Dolcetto was just for which was just for an everyday drinking basically
Mhm.
just went a little bit forgotten. So but apart from this what really makes the area and especially the Barolo Zero production so special to me it's just because every single parcel, every single corner of the vineyard is unique, and it's unique because of the soil composition, because of microclimate, because in a few hundred meters everything can completely change. And we can see that, for example, in Novello we have two vineyards. We work with the Ravera vineyard and we work with the Cerviano Merli. And if you would be there and if you would walk into the vineyards, you would see that it's just about turning around the corner, changing a little bit the sun exposure, and also having a little bit difference in altitude, and then you get a completely different wine. So that's what really makes the area so special to me.
And are you unique in that? Because a lot of winemaker, the young generation, they want to go do their own thing and go off and start business or work in finance, and then realize how great it would be to go home and work at the winery. Are you unique like that? That you knew from a very early age and stayed with the winery, or are you an exception to the in the region?
Well, as I was saying before, I think this is, I'm not an exception. I'm just what happens here. So, most of the people having families with wineries decided to join the wineries because, and it naturally came, it naturally happened because it's something I think we have in our blood. So
Yeah.
it's a kind of job. Requires passion, otherwise it's too much because we have to use the 200% of our energies to do this
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's never ending, you know. It's not only about the stress of selling wines, to travel and having to deal with people constantly, but the major stress is having to do with nature every single day. So we can never relax because one day can rain too much, one day could snow too much, or it could be the hailstorm just coming the week before the harvesting. We can never control. We can only do the best efforts to make what we are able to do the best up to the conditions we have, and
Mhm.
that's it. So that's the reason why it's about passion. So.
Clearly, it's a never-ending job. Um, as a sommelier, you when I go to a table and I don't have a lot of time to talk because people have questions they want to get going with their meal, people will ask, "What's the difference between Barolo and Barbaresco in the wine?" And you have 30 seconds or a minute to give the lowdown. How would you answer that to a customer?
Well, Barbaresco's friend, please forgive me about this, but
Barbaresco is what?
Barbaresco's friends, please forgive me about this, but we used to say that, the Barolo is the king of wines as the Barbaresco is the prince of wines. But, it's not about, I'm, I'm just joking, but the quality is outstanding for the
Sure.
two wines. The difference is made by the type of soil and the time aging, the aging time of the two wines. So it's the same grape variety. Barbaresco has this very soft, silky, velvety, very charming feel. And it's obviously a long aging wine for sure, but it's like a little bit thinner than Barolo is. Barolo is
I just
of like sometimes 10, 15 years uh, of aging before being and to rest before being able to be appreciated.
Chiara, I'm sorry, but my data lagged when you were saying about Barolo. Can you just repeat that about Barolo? I'm very sorry.
No, no problem at all. So Barolo is considered to be the king of wine just because it's a bold, fantastic, charming, intense wine, which spends sometimes 4 years in a barrel. And then maybe we wait 2 more years for the release, and then for just drinking a bottle of Barolo, which has some balance, some sense, it could take 10, 12, 15 years.
Now, can you speak of the philosophy and style of your family wines?
Well, the style is quite simple. I mean, we try to respect as much as we can the vineyards and the specific characteristics we get from the land and from the vineyard itself. That's the reason why we have 4 different labels of Barolo tasting different, because it's the location, it's the type of soil, and it's not about the winemaking. Because, for example, for the two single vineyards, the Presende and the Ravera, we do exactly the same winemaking, same everything. It's just about a sandy calcareous soil against a loam and clay one, for example. We try to respect the grapes, and that's something we think it's fundamental. So the quality of the grapes is something uh, we cannot fix with any kind of practice in the cellar. So if the grapes are not perfect, they are not good, there's no way to make a good wine. And the winemaking and the aging tend to be very traditional style. So we do very long maceration time, for example. We use large casks for the aging. So again, we try to load the impact as much as we can on
Mm-hmm.
with our actions.
I want to ask about the viticulture, but Angela Rose Khan asked, are you working on any experimental projects that fall outside of local winemaking project requirements?
Well, if it could be called a project, we are turning into organic all the
Oh,
vineyards.
you are? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We just started today the first spraying of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Because as I was saying, we had some rain, and we're gonna probably make some more rain beginning of next week. So we need to be ready for potential attacks of mildew, downy mildew, some botrytis as well. So we are spraying with this organic product. And that is something. And then we are increasing the production of the Alta Langa, which is a sparkling wine with this DOCG mention, which is born about 10 years ago, and At the beginning, the numbers were very small, but they are growing, and also the reputation and the name of the mansion is becoming even more important. So we just planted beginning of March a new vineyard in Belvedere, as I was saying. So
Oh,
just
cool.
trying to increase in a little bit that, and that's basically it. What we really care is just trying to do every year better. Another project is finally opening our B&B on top of the winery. It's a very special place. And we are also thinking about expanding a little bit more the cellar, but that's something that will come in one or 2 years. So yeah, there's a lot going on. And then
Okay.
there's one more secret thing, but it's not already time
Oh,
to talk
secret.
about that.
So stay tuned. So follow Marziano Abbona and we'll announce when that's out.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
can can you speak again? People are saying, "Oh wow, sparkling." Maybe someone from Regal can write in the thing what the actual wine is called, because some people want to see the spelling.
So
But
the
can you tell us?
mention is Alta Langa,
Okay.
and it's a DOCG mention. It's a méthode champenoise,
Hmm.
which has to spend at least 30 months on the yeasts.
Wow.
So yeah, for example, we do spend 48, and it's made of Pinot Noir and Chardonnay in different percentages, of course. So very
I
very
see.
traditional on that side, but it's a very very nice project which has born, as I was saying, 11 years ago, in the upper portion of the Lange, so an area called Alta Langa, which connects different villages and communes, which in the past decades were almost abandoned. I mean, the agriculture there was very basic, maximum some hazelnuts, but nothing more than that. And it's a fabulous land because of altitude, because of, again, soil composition, and we can get fabulous, fantastic acidities from there, especially for sparkling. And so with new plantations of vineyards for the Alta Langa production, as you can imagine, some wealth has been created to these small communes, and some more new jobs have been created as well. So I think it's
That's very
something
cool.
very,
Yeah.
very nice. Yeah, yeah.
And I'm sure there's a link in the Marziano Abono profile to go to the website if they want to pursue and find more information there.
Of course, of
Um,
course.
so Chiara, on the bottom, I think it's the bottom right, there are two little arrows. You can change the direction of the camera to show
Oh, of
us the
course.
vineyards, and you can point the camera easier. But also, can I see those chic sunglasses again? You're always so chic. When you come back, put the sunglasses on for us. But
Yeah, okay.
show us where we are.
Of course. So the cellar, which is completely interred, especially the aging side, and it's a little bit hidden, especially driving from the
Ah,
top of the street. The mountains, the Alp Mountains down over there, some
wow.
Dolcetto vineyards you can see right here. Our small lake, that's the lake from which we got inspiration for one of our wines called the Cinerino. And Cinerino is the Italian name for a gray heron we have on the label of the wine. And very
Oh.
often we have the gray heron just going there eating and fishing. So, and this is the San Luigi Hill, the beautiful San Luigi Hill with all those very old vines. I'm very sorry. I would have loved to go just right on top of the hill to just show you the area from the top, which is gorgeous, but I couldn't because of the heavy rain. So there's a lot of mud, and I
Ah, okay. No
couldn't just
worries.
go on the top of there. So
It's
yeah.
beautiful where you are. It's beautiful. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
it's absolutely amazing. And then I can walk a little bit further so you can see a little bit more.
There's something about a vineyard that is just so, it's nature, but it's very clean and symmetrical. And it's just, for me, it's very, that's part of the reason I wanted to do this project is you're outside, the vines are right there. And a lot of us, especially my friends in New York City, the sommeliers who love your wine, are in their apartments and
And
dying
they
for
can
some.
see this, especially in such a sunny day. We're very lucky because of
Exactly.
this.
So
Yeah, yeah. So, well, vineyards are considered like gardens for us,
Yeah.
because we like to have roses on top. Well, this is one of our cherry trees. In a few weeks, I hope we will be eating nice and juicy cherries from it.
That's awesome.
And we have some more of the Dolcetto vines right here. So as you can see, maybe
Okay.
if you're gonna have the chance to talk with friends from the Nebbiolo area production, you will really see a huge difference in between of the growing and the blossoms, the ah, I forgot
Oh,
the
where
name.
where the vines are right now, how far along they
Yeah,
are?
exactly. So these are not so, you see the gems, they're not so big actually. So Nebbiolo are definitely, uh, can you
Sorry
see
for the
it?
data. A little bit higher
Are
if
you
you
okay?
can, I
Can
think.
you,
Yeah, yeah, there we go.
yeah, you see? It's just the beginning, and Nebbiolo are definitely much longer than this. So, and in fact, in Nebbiolo vineyards, we already started to do I don't know if it's the right word, the pollarding. So it's a
Uh,
practice
I
with which we start to select the production. So we just cut
yeah,
the sterile gems, basically, not bringing any flour and
right. I believe it's
any.
called suckers in English, and they remove them, but
Okay,
there's French words and Italian words, and I can never keep track
in
of it.
Italian it's called scacchiatura.
Yeah, yeah.
And actually, there's the
Someone Dave.
nice San Luigi Church.
Oh wow. Oh, super cool. Wow. My friend Dave Foss, who runs a wine bar, a great wine bar in Brooklyn, asked, "Do you, since you're going organic, are you using native or selected yeasts?"
We are using the indigenous one.
You are great. Okay, because that's becoming more and more of an issue for wine folks over here. Sorry for the data, guys. I think she might be switching off of her Wi-Fi from the. Oh, I lost her. Okay, well, she'll be back. How cool is she? Um, she's always like so chic. When you go to the portfolio and you see her, she's just so chic. She'll be right back. There we go. Hi, Julie. Hey,
Hi,
did you
I'm
leave the Wi-Fi
sorry.
range?
No, well, it's crazy. So we live in a wonderful place, but just getting online is always
Oh yeah.
so difficult. And
Any
especially right now, everybody is doing smart working. So if it was weak, the signal, now it's even weaker.
understandably, the sky's bluer now that you're back too. Somehow, no worries. So you were talking about the you use indigenous yeast.
Yeah, we do. We do. Yeah,
Okay.
it's part of what I was telling you earlier. So it's part of respecting the vineyard itself, and it's part of just making a very unique wine, very distinguishable as well.
That's unique to where you are. Yeah, Angela had asked the specifics about that, but I think you answered that.
So that's gonna
Um,
be the relay as well. So
wow. So that's the wow.
right on
Um,
top. So I can go even
so
farther because it's
yeah,
gonna
that's fine. It's
collapse.
still it's gorgeous. Okay, you can put yourself back on, and I want to see those sunglasses. But
Yay.
can you gorgeous? So we've seen a lot of you know, you guys had it really bad in Italy with the coronavirus, and I think it's starting to ease up. Can you talk about what it's like for your wine country, and compared to what you would normally be doing now, you and in the vineyard, and how that's different now under the quarantine?
I'm not sure I heard you so well. I'm so sorry. Can you just
That's
repeat it
okay.
again?
Yeah, yeah. Just how things are different under the quarantine as a winemaker, and then you know what the winery would be doing now versus maybe it's the same. I think it's generally the same in the field work, but again, what you would be doing this time of year, and just how in general things are under the quarantine and the corona.
Well, talking about the winery, it's not that different. I mean, we're doing the same things because we have to. We still have to take care of the vineyards. We still have to take care of the wines, doing the bottlings, and so. Uh, well, for sure, it's very different about the volume of business, the requests, the shipments, traveling has completely been erased. I'm quite, these would have been the period for Vinitaly. It would have been and just yesterday, and I found myself missing it so much because it's I've always been there, and we've always been there. So it's something. Well, it looks so incredible and so strange not to be there and having our uh, just regular year. So, but it's also a time in which we can just stop and think a little bit more of what we want to do, what
Yeah.
our goals are. And I think, don't take me wrong, but I personally had the time to think a lot about myself, a lot about things I wouldn't have considered before. I learned to do new things. I
Hmm.
discovered to have skills I didn't know I had. So I think for some reasons, for some aspects, we I got the positive side, even in this very tough time. And we are very lucky. All the family is good. My parents are good,
Good.
despite they're not super young, actually.
Right.
And
Right.
so we can just be blessed and thankful because of this, and we will have to take what we have to take. So we don't know what will be next, because especially we work a lot with restaurants and wine shops, especially talking about the national market, and
Yeah.
this situation is going to be a problem for a very long time. Actually, everybody is talking about May 4th as the possible end of lockdown in Italy. Uh, but what about what will come? We don't know, because restaurants, will they open? They will decide not to open. And what about the conditions and the
Yeah.
rules they will have to follow? People will unknown things, and we have no answers, and so
Yeah,
it's
yeah, that's
difficult to
the same
say.
here. So we're watching what you guys do, and it's all like kind of who knows what's going to happen, but hopefully we'll get back on track soon. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's nice to kind of at least look at this. There are a few. It's an awful time, but there's some upsides to it, and I think it's important to focus on that. So just one little last question before we go. Beth from Regal says hi, and she asks
Hi.
if you have a personal preference for your Nebbiolo versus your Dolcetto, because she says your Dolcetto is so beautiful.
Well, there's no way, no way. So I'm a dolcetto person,
You're what?
100%. I'm a dolcetto person,
Ah,
100%.
okay.
So yeah, I would have loved to go on top of the hill just in front of us, but also in the Papacesso's vineyard, because maybe next time, or maybe I will just record the video for you, because it's such a unique place. And with those 70 years old vines, from there we get a unique dolcetto, because again of the wonderful, gorgeous vines and the beautiful vineyards. So it's part of the family. So it came from my grandfather, and oh, well, Nebbiolo is fantastic, but Dolcetto to me is life.
Awesome. So yes, we'll wait. We're all following you on Instagram now. So maybe go and record a video, a little video tour, and we'll catch it there.
Okay,
All right.
fantastic.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
It's been
Thank
a
you.
pleasure to chat with
I hope
you.
to see you in person, hopefully very soon.
Hopefully very soon. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.
Thank you
and
for
thanks for
inviting me.
sharing the
You
vineyard
too.
with us. Okay.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Ciao. Ciao. Ciao.